welcome back to our show. Once again, my name is Mrs. Augustina Anyanwu. And help me welcome my friend.
This is Glory and Ezemma. Welcome back to our Sweet Home Africa. It's always a pleasure to have you as our viewer. All right, once again, we have a great topic. Okay, so our topic today is reclaiming our neighborhoods. I know a lot of people will ask, what do I mean by that? Okay.
By that.
Exactly. All right, we live in diaspora and we've seen a lot of black neighborhoods. Black neighborhoods in the Western world. Many of them are not the greatest. And we have seen them and compared them to other neighborhoods. So I will just give you a little insight of things that I have seen. And then I'll throw it to my friend so that she can, give her insight and also give her advice. What I have noticed living in America, I will speak, based on what we have seen, not what we have heard. Most of the black neighborhoods here, they have stores and things that are not beneficial to our children that are growing up in those neighborhoods. Okay, so I'll just give you some examples. When you go to a lot of black neighborhoods, you see liquor stores, you see check cashing places, you see clubs, you see go-go bars, you see
fried food area, food that are not too healthy for the body.
That is true. And then you see places that they play the lottery. So that means when you cash your money, you go straight to the lottery place, or you end up going to the liquor store to buy alcohol. And then I know many of us are wondering why a lot of blacks are in prison. So these are some of the things that we have observed as immigrants that are staying in this country. Some of the things that are contributing to the problem that many of us are having with our black children in the Western world. So my friend and I will look into it. And then once again, like we said, we give advice because we are calling people in the government positions, especially blacks that are in political positions, that we have to go back and reclaim our neighborhoods so that we can reclaim our children, so that we won't lose our children to the society. So that's why we brought that topic. So go ahead, my friend, with the neighborhoods.
My friend, you are right. We have to reclaim our neighborhoods. And we are going to not only do it on our own because we might not know where to start. We're going to call on the elected officials. When we call about neighborhood, the mayor had to get involved. The city or the council, men and women.
That's true.
The city council, they are part of this solution. They are going to, because when you get to City Hall, they give license or permit what stays in the neighborhood. For every block, you have 2 or 3 stores, almost selling the same thing. I think we have to minimize things like that. Again, we the individuals, the indigents that live there, the people, we have to know how to keep our streets in front of our yards. We have to know how to keep them clean. You can just eat banana or you eat anything, a can of soda, you drop it there. In the park, the same thing. The children are playing in the park, for crying out loud. You get there, the garbage, people eat, they drink, they buy food. When they finish, they leave it there, they go. We don't have a man. When you eat, you clean after yourself. By then, you're teaching the children. Your neighborhood will be clean. That means you're not going to get sick from all those things that are not too good for the health. When you live in a filthy environment, the tendency you might get sick is there because everybody's immune system is not the same thing. Because you eat, you throw away the flies, the bugs, all kinds of them, they will be there. And, when you want to take out your garbage outside, make sure you tie them. Don't just drop them like that. The garbage truck will come and pick what they can pick and leave the rest in there. So that shows that when we go like from one neighborhood to another, you can see the difference. You will say, oh, okay, this is black neighborhood and this is the so-called white neighborhood. So we have to try as much as we can to give ourselves the name we want people to call us. We don't want people to, to give us a name based on where we live. We don't want people to, rate us the way you think because we eat and we don't know how to clean after ourselves. We eat, we throw it on the street. That's not good for our children. We are not teaching them the right thing. And you will see your child eat candy and they will drop the wrap because they're following after your footsteps. So we need to know that we are the first teachers of our children. Then get involved, parents. Not in my neighborhood. If they're coming to bring liquor store or lottery store, whatever it is, or another fast food store, not in my neighborhood. Because we cannot, every block we have 2 or 3 different kinds of food somebody is cooking. It's okay, people do their business, don't misunderstand me, but they don't have to be in one neighborhood, in one block. We're having that. Like my friend stated earlier, we have all those signs that are not too good for the children. You go to the library. Is it a walking distance? Or do we have library that you don't drive, you have to take a bus before you get there? What kind of books are there? Are we being mindful of what is in our neighborhood? Who is teaching your child? Get involved. Know what your child is learning. Ask questions. Call the city council. Call the mayor. Call the councilman. Call the councilwoman. You have the power. You can make the change. You have the authority. You can decide what goes on because the future of your child is in your hand, or the future of your children should be in your hand. Do not leave your children completely, 100%, for somebody you don't know because they are your child's teacher. You leave them to do what they want to do. You leave the school to give your child any kind of book. What kind of book are they reading? If they have computer in school, what is your child watching? What is your child studying with a computer? You have to get involved. You have to know because these are the leaders of tomorrow. If we equip them the right way, we're going to have a better result. Look at it, go to farm work. And when you don't have the right equipment, you're not going to come out with your productivity will be so poor or so low. So if we give these children and what they really need at this stage, believe me, they're going to be far, far, far away from where? From jailhouse. If they don't have anything to do, no after school, no recreational areas, parents have 2, 3 jobs and we are not involved in their life, and then they'll be on the street after work, after school. Some of them will not go home until you almost come back from work. So who is watching your child? We have to be mindful of what we are doing because our environment is the best teacher for our children. Please, let's have a conducive environment so that our children will grow up and be able to compete in this big world out there. My friend, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you so much. I love everything that you said. Thank you so much. But I'll add a little bit of something to what you just said. When you mentioned the billboard, that one is very important because once again, when you go to black neighborhoods, you see a lot of billboards. Most of the billboards that I have there is either smoking billboard, alcohol billboard, or bond, where to get bond when you are in prison, or lawyers. So you don't see billboards, once again, that are very positive. All right, so let me compare it to other neighborhoods. Other neighborhoods that I've seen where people from other races live. When you go there, you see libraries, you see workshop areas, you see computer repair areas, you see cobbler stores, like where they repair shoes. And then you see places that if you want to learn how to sew, you can go there. You see shops that can teach you how to make beads and necklaces. So my point is this. Compared to these 2 neighborhoods, if your children are growing, and they're growing in the neighborhood with the liquor store, the go-go bars, the check cashing place, the lottery place, and then you have another child that is growing, where you have the libraries, the workshops, the bead making place, and the sewing place. Where do you think will bring out a child that will become more productive to the society? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. I mean, it's not that, I mean, we should all go back and see what is going on with our children. Yes, we talked about all the abuse and everything that is happening to all the black kids. But our point is this: let's look deeper on what we as individuals need to change to make life better for our children.
That's right.
And why are we bringing this up? Because when you, in the Western world, a lot of black children are in prison. I know I use the word children, but what I mean is that black young men and women, they are in prison. And many of them grew up in neighborhoods like this. So when they walked out, maybe even when they were little, when they walk out of their house, what they see are liquor stores and the stores that we just mentioned. But when people from other races, when their children walk out, they see these things. So what would they do? When you're growing up, you might even end up going there to get a job and learning how to sew and learning how to do things. But our own children are walking out in places that are not conducive for them. And then in the process, they're lured into these lifestyles, which later in life makes them end up in prison. So these are things that we have to come out. I know a lot of rich blacks, what they do, even people that grew up in places that they call ghetto, once they get rich, they move out of the ghetto place, and then they find houses in the suburb, and they relax comfortably. They don't care about the ghetto anymore. They don't care about the liquor stores anymore. They're like, all right, we'll raise our children in the other neighborhood. But my brothers and sisters, what I want to bring to your attention is this. If your brothers are still living in the ghetto, and you have succeeded, and now you moved out to the suburb, who else is going to rescue them? But it's you that is in government positions. Now you have mansions all over, but you don't want to go to the ghetto. Even sometimes you're afraid to go there. We have to go back and rescue these children. They are our brothers and sisters.
Yes.
And I will use this analysis to drive this point a little bit further. If you're being chased by a lion and you run very fast, actually while you are running, you're running with your brothers, you're running with your sisters, and you're running with your children. But you run so fast and you escape the lion. And the lion captured your children, captured your relatives. Have you really escaped? So that's my question. So the black people that have made it have beautiful positions as politicians, mayors, councilmen and women. And you're all sitting there and the neighborhoods are like this. You're allowing these things to be put in black neighborhoods. Are you really, have you really escaped from being abused? Because once again, we heard about racism and everything that is going on. We heard about racial profiling. It doesn't matter where you live. As long as you're black, and if they're discriminated against blacks, even if you're the richest black, you will still be discriminated against. So let's go back and rescue our brothers and sisters. Let's go back and once again reclaim the neighborhood. Change the neighborhood. Once we change these neighborhoods, you will see that our children will change. They will do better and they will become more productive so that they won't end up in prison. So that's our point. My dear friend, do you have more things to add?
Yeah, we said enough already. As you know, enough is a word is enough for the wise. We are talking about our children being brought up in a negative neighborhood, in a negative environment. The environment that do not give them too much to work with as they grow up, versus positive environment. Positive environment helps to influence the child. It helps the child to do the best, to be the best they can be. We need more recreational areas so that we need more aftercare facilities. We need an environment that can coach and teach a child and give a child something to hold. Classroom activities alone is not enough, so that our children won't be lost in this big world, so that our children won't be standing on the street for the street to teach them. A lot of them are on the street because there is nothing for them to do. But if we have an environment that is so encouraging, after school you can go this place, from this place you do this. So they will be able to have a schedule of what to do. They will be able to compete when they finish school and get out there in the world. So, Mayor, try to encourage the councilmen and women, the governors. Let's define what goes on. Everybody can do a business, but not 3, 4, 5 of almost the same thing in one block. And then we have to, parents, we have the power. Let's work with it. Let's rally and say, not in my neighborhood. But you got to get involved to know what is coming in your neighborhood. Not when it's already established. And when it's a already established business, you cannot do anything then. Before they approve it, if you get involved, you will know what next is coming. Then you will let them...
Sorry, not that I want to interrupt you. And then avoid them getting permission. Because once you come out, and because, you know, I'm sorry to interrupt you, actually. Let me drive the point a little bit deeper. Because once again, a lot of people will be wondering, you know, why are we talking about this? And then some wealthy blacks will be like, oh, you know what? If you really want to live in a good neighborhood, you get money and you move out. All right, so I will just drive this point a little bit deeper by my personal story. When the kids were small, I mean, when we came here as immigrants, we lived in the city. But after a while, we went to college, and then I lived in what I would call a suburban area. But when I moved to that area, it's almost the analysis that I told you. I started wondering, because now I have seen the difference. I've seen where blacks live, and I have seen where people from other races live. So when you come to my neighborhood, like I said, you see libraries and you see things that I told you. And then I started wondering, I said, how come my brothers and sisters that are living in the city do not have these things that I'm seeing right now? So these are some of the reasons why we brought out this topic. Because we have seen the difference between where blacks live and where people from other races live. So go back, my friend. I mean, there was something that you were talking about before I took it from you. Go ahead, drive the point a little bit deeper.
Okay. The point I was trying to make is that let all of us work together.
That's true.
Let us work as a community, so that we can be able to know what our children are doing. So if there's a billboard that is just with naked women, picture drawn on it, some kind of action movie with a gun, you can make a call to your councilman or woman.
So that they can remove it from neighborhood.
They have to remove it.
That's true.
Because all those are not a good sign for children. Sometimes they use a gun, they don't know that gun can kill somebody.
That's true.
Because they watch so much movie. And when they go and kill somebody, before you know, the person is doing another movie somewhere. And then, when they use a gun, they think that person will come back to life. We have to get more involved in our children's life. It is hard. We all have 2, 3 jobs. It's not easy. But remember, the job, we can work it forever and ever. I say, may it not be our passion, but at the same time, the children, there is a phase in their life when they need you that much. Because if you can sow that good seed in them, they will grow up and know that, okay, this is the norms. This is what I have to do. So they will have somebody to look up to as they grow up. Please, let's work together. Let's say not in my neighborhood, for your child or your neighbor's child. Because you do not know where are these children who can help you as life goes on. So let's work together. Let's believe that we can make a change. Let's use the power we have that we don't know that we have and say, not in my neighborhood.
That's
all right.
All right. So to cap it. Actually, when my friend was talking, I remembered exactly what I wanted to say. We were talking about the permission, actually. So what I was comparing at that time was, I mean, the neighborhood where I live, you cannot bring in anything without the community coming out. Everybody will come out to vote against that if it is not good. But what I've noticed is that a lot of black neighborhoods, people do not come out to vote against something that they don't like. You have to come out. If it is a go-go bar, if it is something that you don't want your child to see, come out en masse and vote, and that thing will not be